When the journey gets tough. Once upon a time, there was a boy named Daniel who, like many others, had reached the point where life felt too heavy to carry. It wasn't always this way. There was a time when he had hope, when the world seemed full of endless possibilities. But somewhere along the way, he lost it. The light that once shone brightly within him dimmed, swallowed up by the weight of his own thoughts, the relentless storm inside his mind. He had tried to push through. He had tried to be strong. But the days became darker, and the nights colder. It felt like every step he took was dragging him deeper into an abyss he couldn't escape. One night, after another long day of pretending everything was fine, Daniel stood at the edge of a bridge, staring at the dark water below. Everything in him screamed to just let go. To stop fighting. To surrender to the emptiness that had consumed him for so long. He couldn't remember the last time he truly felt alive. But just as he was about to step forward, a thought, one small, desperate thought, flickered inside him. What if, just for a moment? I don't give up. He didn't know where the thought came from, but it was enough to make him turn around. Enough to make him take one shaky step back toward life. That was the moment Daniel realized, survival wasn't enough. The journey wasn't over, even when it felt like the weight of the world was pressing down on him. So he walked. And he kept walking, even when his legs felt like lead and his heart felt like a broken drum. He found his way to a shelter, where he curled up in a corner, drenched and shivering, hoping the world would just disappear. But it didn't. The world kept turning. And even in the silence, something small but persistent nagged at him, you have to keep going. The next day, when he was ready to give up again, a stranger appeared. A woman, her face soft with age and experience, her hands holding an umbrella and a small paper bag. Rough night? She asked, her voice kind yet unwavering, as if she had seen the dark side of life but refused to be swallowed by it. Daniel didn't respond, his throat tight with the weight of everything he couldn't say. But she handed him the bag without a second thought. It's warm, she said. Just cooked it for my son, but he didn't come home. He looked at her, at the food she offered, at the simple gesture. His first thought was to refuse. To turn away from everything good. But something inside him fought back, a quiet voice saying, take it. You're not done yet. And so he did. For the first time in months, Daniel felt something other than numbness. The warmth of the meal, the kindness in her eyes, it was a small thing, but it was enough to remind him that he hadn't been forgotten. That he still mattered. That night, he lay in his cot, staring at the ceiling. He could have chosen to give up again. But somehow, the thought of that woman's kindness stayed with him. It wasn't a miracle. There was no grand turning point. But from that moment, Daniel made one small promise to himself, I won't quit today. Days passed. Weeks. Months. Rejections. Failures. But Daniel kept moving. He found a job, small, menial, nothing glamorous, but it was something. He didn't stop, even when it felt like he was getting nowhere. He learned to find the small victories, the ones no one else saw. He kept waking up. Kept showing up. And then one day, when he least expected it, someone saw him. Thank you, a woman said to him after he cleaned the school floors. Thank you for making this place better. For the first time in a long time, Daniel realized something, I matter. Years later, Daniel stood in front of a group of teenagers, telling them his story, not for sympathy, but for something more important. To give them something he wished someone had given him when he was on the edge, hope. The journey will get tough, he said, his voice steady but strong. There will be days when the world feels like it's swallowing you whole. But I promise you this, if you can make it through one more day, you might just find something worth fighting for. Daniel paused, his eyes scanning the room. And when it feels like you're too broken to go on, remember this, it's in the breaking that we start to rebuild. The journey doesn't get easier. The world doesn't stop being hard. But Daniel learned that you are not defined by the moments you almost gave up. You are defined by the moments you chose to keep going, even when everything inside you told you to stop. And sometimes, that's all it takes. Kindly subscribe to get more stories like this, stories that remind you, you're never alone, and no matter how tough the journey gets, there's always hope on the other side. Keep going. You've got this.